So three things, at least three things I want to bring here. First, not today, but looking in the past, right? We talk about scale this up for millions of devices and so on. We put some thought about, okay, what happened and why it's so hard. So the first thing is because, in our experience, it's very hard to plan. If you look back in all these years, it's very hard to plan IoT. Many people compare us, our industry, with like IT projects. Well, it's kind of okay, but IT is very mature. And we didn't have the sensors, we didn't have connectivity, we didn't have platforms. So it took a lot of time, so it's hard to plan. That's the first reason why it took so long to bring value to the marketplace. The second one is that we really don't see much, if any, value from solutions that are simplistic. Simplistic is not simple. Simplistic is something that's really not well thought, is really something that don't go to the details about the application. For example, when you build something, it's not only about technology, that's already very complicated, really, right? But it's also about the business. For example, when someone deploys something, you need to think about the impact of the people's life, about their job, if they're going to change something, if you need to reward people differently. So customization is really necessary. And the third point in our experience is that a single app is not enough. Why I'm saying that? Because when we talk with companies that they want to provide a solution, sometimes they come to us and say, okay, we want something very simple, very focused. But as soon as they start to play, they want to expand. They want to have application to different sectors, and also they want to add new connectivities. So it's not only about one connectivity. If you are deploying with a LoRaWAN, then you want to have an IoT, you want to have a satellite, cellular, you need to expand. So a platform really needs to be modular. And if you don't use a platform, that's fine, but you need to think about that. So let me give one example, just a little bit, a concept, very simple, right? So if you think about the features that you want to deploy in a product, doesn't matter which product. Let's talk about solution for IoT, of course, but this can be applied to anything. So if you think about the features that you want to add in a product, you have normally two axes to make the decision which features in the hardware, software you want to bring to your product. So if you spread this, you have an axis with the value, another one with the effort or complexity. So if you spread that one, you see, okay, there are features that don't add much value and it's very hard to do. Probably you're not going to do, right? Because not much value. And there are other features that you don't need much effort to implement, but you believe that these add a lot of value. If that's the case, pretty sure you're going to get this one and bring it to your hardware design, your software design, right? It makes sense. However, you need to think about that. If that's so simple, are you differentiate from others? That's the quest for the marketplace, right? So if you are able to do something different and bring those features that are more complex to implement and make it easier to implement, maybe you can bring this to the marketplace and have a differentiation. So it's very important not to focus on only the simple things that anyone can do it. And if you have a nice process, we believe you can bring even more features and make it easier to implement. So if you make it easier to implement, you can add more value. So when you think about IoT, think about the cloud, the area that we are, of course, working most of the time, you see that you can deploy with nice visualization. For example, this one here, a real widget that you have. People can do the configuration, can customize, dark mode, light mode, a lot of things. Really nice. We know the information is vital. Some people you argue, I don't know if people need a dashboard. I think people don't care. Frankly, I think people care. Maybe not too much all the time, but it's very good to help to sell your product, and also people need some visual. However, it's not only about to show a value. It's a lot about the process. You need to pre-process the data. So it's not only about only show data in your application. So if you get a solution that anyone is building, doesn't matter if you work with us, or a competitor, or build it by yourself, you need more than just the software for visualization, right? Just the graphic is not enough. So if you get this example of our platform, very high level, sorry, I can see that it's hard to see, but just trust me here. You have the device. Inside our platform, you have a pipeline. You have the API. You do have to include the control for the APIs. You need to add RPM. You need to add the protection we got against bots, for example. You need to have a queue, database. It's not like one database. You need to have a lot of things. So high level, you need to have a lot of features inside because you don't want to be just visualization because normally it really is not enough. And also, for the visualization, normally you have at least two big players. One is the developer. Developers really demand a lot of features because they are building things, right? And the other one are the end users. You need to have a tool that end users can really make decisions. So how a platform can address that, right? How can a platform have something that you be easy at the end of the day, but also is not simplistic only, right? So many platforms, you're going to have something like that. Okay, a dashboard, then you have functions. So if you just show the functions, that's what you have done. You add a lot of a combination of features. For example, you have device management, but not only a database for time series. That's interesting, but you need to have more. We need to store pictures. You need to store information about the trucks, about people sometimes, and so on. Then you have to add analytics. You need to add actions. You need to have connectivity with the edge solution, and so on. So there are a lot of features that you need to combine. So trust me, even if you don't want to use a platform, you want to build by yourself, you need to consider the whole application, the whole feature that you need in the future. Otherwise, in our experience, it would be really hard for you to have a good business and take advantage and bring this to other business as you expand your application. So what we have done is, okay, we created this a couple of years ago. I said, okay, let's create templates. So templates are very nice, right? You can get a template. For example, if you go to our website, you just click there. You pick one and say, okay, I'm not the guy who's going to build a lot of dashboards. I just want to use this, and then I want you to edit them. So that's really nice. But still, this is the visualization only. We add another step that are templates for the whole scripts, whole application, analytics, reports, and so on. That's very good. However, as we get 2025, and we started to think about other things, I'm sorry, that's a very low resolution image for the display, sorry for that. But basically what we did was, okay, everybody's talking about the AI, right? And we thought a lot about how can we bring real value with AI, and it's very tricky because AI, as you know, can be very expensive, not only for us, for the customer, and so on. So what we did was we brought tools to help developers to build the application. So today, if the developer goes to our platform and starts saying, like, I want a dashboard for these sensors. Okay, let's say I want to sensor X. Build this for me. It's going to be able to get the data sheet and build the whole application, and not only to build the reports and the scripts, but also build the dashboard. So we are testing that, and we use this a lot internally. Our plan is to release this next month, or the end of October. The beta version will be available. And again, why that's important? Because if you go to the dashboard and try to edit one by one, as most people are doing up to now, it's going to take a lot of time. And as I said before, we really believe that customization is very important. So as you continue to use and communicate through prompting, you can use our ChatGPT, or you can use your own agent, whatever you want to use. You can build the whole dashboard much faster than before. So again, what we're doing here is, based on our experience, is not only to build a simple dashboard, but to give the capability for people to build something very customizable. And why? Because at the end of the day, people want to build applications for different businesses. For example, agriculture, there are so many applications, so many sensors out there. And we believe that by adding options, but make it easy for people to connect, save a lot of time. So if you are here and you work with hardware, I really would like to have a conversation with you later. We have a booth here outside to discuss about how we believe your hardware can unlock more potential by making it easy for not only you, but for your customers to put this together. Okay? So that's the message. Open for any question. Paula?
Thank you.
Thank you.